I learned something from Chris Hayes earlier today. I didn't realize that a lot of the pollings that were out there were actually dial-up polls and a lot lesser quality polls. I kind of knew some of them were lesser quality, but what seems to have been happening is Republican polls have been coming out simply to fill up these polling averages and make it seem like Republicans were stronger than they really were. Well, new polls came out. And according to Chris, this is a more reputable poll. Of course, I'm very jury of polls because we don't know what the likely voter model is going to look like. And I think in in years when there are extenuating circumstances like the bill trying to take away women's rights, etc., things get a little bit more difficult to predict. Why I actually believe Democrats are in a much better position than any poll would likely say right now. Listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
The race between Republican Blake Masters and incumbent Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona is one of the key races that could decide the balance of power in the Senate. Some brand new polling from New York Times and Siena College on that race, and three others that look pretty good for Democrats. Kelly's up 6 points on Masters. In Pennsylvania, Democrat John Fetterman leads Republican Mehmet Oz by nearly 6 points. We should note that survey was conducted before their debate. In Georgia, Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock has a slim lead over Republican Herschel Walker. In Nevada, Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto and Republican Adam Laxalt are dead even. David, let me start with you on these Times polling. Again, there's a ton of polls. The polling average has definitely been moving, I think, in Republicans' favor over the last several weeks, although I think it's sort of steadied a little bit in the last few weeks. These jumped out at me because this is a fairly high-quality polling operation, as the Times notes. Most of the polling over the last few weeks is coming from partisan outfits, usually Republican or auto-dial firms. The polls are cheap enough to flood the zone. Many of them were emboldened by the 2020 election when their final results came close to the election results, even as other pollsters struggled. What do you make of where these marquee races are and whether they've sort of tightened to 50-50 and that's your assumption, or whether you think folks like Kelly are still holding a little bit of an edge?
Well, Chris, I think there was tightening across the country. That was natural because there was a period of time, let's say 45, 60 days ago, Republicans were basically at their bottom. And a lot of the folks who were saying they were undecided in polls were Republicans or Republican-leaning independents. They've come home. I agree with your assessment that there are a lot of garbage Republican polls, for the most part, that are polluting these poll averages. Some of them have Republican Senate candidates getting 25, 30, 35% of the African-American vote. So either maybe if they are, Republicans are heading to a landslide win. But if it's anywhere around, let's say, 90-10, things look better. So the important thing about these polls, and that is a high-quality pollster, is you have Kelly above 50, and you have Fetterman and Warnock basically almost at 50. Now, Cortez Masto is not there, but in Nevada, her win, I think she won her first race at 46 or 47. So there's going to be a bunch of none of the above, which is an option in Nevada,
right,
and third-party votes. So that's the most important thing right now, if you're even looking at your own data in a campaign, is are you getting closer at your win number? Because again, if a poll shows you it up 44, 43, but there's a bunch of undecideds, a bunch of people undecided about voting, and you don't like who those people are, you're heading to a rough outcome. So yeah, these are very solid results for the Democrats. And of course, if this result were to carry forward, 8 days from now, they would retain the Senate.
Here's the rub in a place like Ohio. J.D. Vance shouldn't be where he is.
No, right.
He should be above 50% in Ohio, and he isn't. And so the fact that the Democratic candidate is at 45, 46, 47 in that range, depending on the polling, tells you how competitive the race is. And it tells you also, very much as we saw in Kansas, there are Republicans who are not getting counted or being assumed to vote or lean in a particular way, who aren't sold on Vance's campaign, who may just in fact say, you know what, I'm going to do it. Okay, Grandma, don't look.
Yeah.
And I'm going to vote for the Democrat.
So yes, I am very, very confident if the trajectory of this poll is correct, that not only will we keep the Senate, but if you listen to Michael Steele, people looking at Vance versus Ryan may say, I don't know. This Ryan guy kind of, remember, there's a Democrat that simply seemed to can't lose in Ohio right now. So there's a good chance that the same would happen with Ryan. We'll see, but I think these polls on the Senate side should have people feeling a bit more confident about holding on to the Senate. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.